All right, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I was recording this video. It was a very, very awesome video. I recorded for about 4.5 hours. Super duper duper complicated. And somehow, OBS never recorded any of my screen audio. However, I was watching a lot of Gami recently, and he inspired me just to try out some new genres. That's what I'm gonna be doing in this video. I'm gonna be making a drum and bass type beat. Then I'm gonna be making an R&B type beat. Then I'm gonna make a G-Funk type beat. Technically, I've made a G-Funk beat on my channel before. It was a collaboration between Brett Baguette and I completely flopped in that video. Like, he totally carried that beat, but I want to redeem myself. I want to make a drum and bass type beat, then an R&B beat, then a G-Funk beat. I've already made all 3 of them. Let me break down my process. Let's get into it. Also, if you could hit the like button, I would really appreciate that, because I've been recording this video for over 5 hours now, and yeah, it'd really help with the channel, really help with the video, and really would say thank you for all of the hard work I put into this video. Let's get into it. All right, I'm starting with my R&B type beat because this is probably my favorite one. I think this one actually turned out super duper clean. Basically, I started the entire thing with this strong electric keyboard from Analog Lab 4. And as you can tell, I had a couple effects on there. I basically started out with drip plugin on here. I used a lo-fi preset and turned down the overall knob a bit. I also used Anarchy comp, really good plugin. Then I used an M flanger on here. Then I used a little bit of high pass. Finally finished off with a round reverb. It was also layered with the Sectar synth plugin. Sounds like this. Same chords. It's really quiet. Well, the final element of my melody was electric mechanical preset on Analog Lab 4. In context of the other sounds, it sounds like this. Turn on the metronome. Ooh. Yeah, actually, it's kind of too much like lo-fi. Nonetheless, here are my drum grooves. I really love how that turned out. Basically, I had the hi-hat pattern here. As you can tell, the main thing is that the velocity is going up and down. My snare sounds like this, but it's also layered with a click thing. That's alone. And then here it adds. It's a wood block, I think, or maybe a clavier. Then I have this open hat, super low passed, and then we add this perk in here. Snare. I'll show you the MIDI for that. I'm going to show you my bass before I show you the full beat. My bass is looking like this, and the way I actually made it was I used just a one-shot sample of a bass. And my kick drum is following the pattern basically entirely, and if you listen to how that sounds all together, super duper chill. Like, I'm just enjoying the style. I want to make more of these beats in the future. I mean, let's go on to the drum and bass beats. Let's get into that. Woo! So what makes a drum and bass song in my opinion is like the kind of kick and snare pattern, and then on top of it has a really funky kind of percussion rhythm or a hi-hat rhythm. It's a okay, so here's my beat right here. I'm really layering a lot of chords together. So first thing first, we have this Analog Lab 4 kind of pad. And then I layer it with this polysynth preset from X-Band. Sounds like this. Of course, as you can see, that one's EQ'd quite a bit. It has a lot of high end in it. And then this is like the brassy main synth. Then I have this arpeggio right here, and it's really interesting how I made this arpeggio. Let me kind of explain it to you.
Let me explain it to you as simply as I can.
As you can see, it's an arpeggio. However, the way I did it was I clicked on my MIDI track, and then if you go down here to this MIDI tab, click on it, then you can turn the arpeggiator on and using enable disable arpeggiator, and then of course change all these settings around. And it's not going to sound good on this preset, I think, but if you listen to what it sounds like, for example. And And then if you want to convert that to MIDI, you just right click on it and then bounce to clips. So we have those chord layers and we have the arpeggio. I finally have this little guitar thing. I don't even remember what it sounds like because I added so many effects to it, but it sounds like this. All in all, my melodies sound like this. If you just go one at a time, this first one is a bongo loop, and the actual bongos are from X-Band, which is kind of surprising. But the reason they don't sound like bongos is it because I have this dumpster fire plug on here. It's so weird. Before, after. Anyway, if you want to see the MIDI for the tambourines, they look like this. It's kind of just nice rhythm. And then we got these ride cymbals, also from X-Men, I believe. A lot of things are just looping over and over. Here's my click sound. I got this one from a one shot in a drum kit. And also that one is really playing off of this other one. That's also a one shot from a drum kit. It sounds like this. The last percussion loop I have here are some like acoustic hi-hats that were affected by Flux MIDI volume automation plugin. So as you can see, they're like tighter than a normal kind of percussion loop would be. So all my drums sound like this, and I'll layer my other sounds in afterwards. It's relatively nice, I felt like. I have to admit, the more I listen to this, the less I'm impressed with it. This is my very first time trying a drum and bass beat. I'd love for you to recommend me some stuff. I don't really know what makes a drum and bass beat different than other kinds of beats. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so this one is just a lot more vibey and kind of, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Anyway, so here's my first sound. It's from Keystone Classic, which is a free plugin of just keys and keyboards and pianos, stuff like that. It has some drip lo-fi preset on it. It sounds like this. Show you the MIDI for that. Super duper chill, and it's layered with this another pad. I believe the pad is from Heat Up 3. It's called Air Phantom. Sounds like this. And it really works nicely with this other guitar one shot that is being arpeggiated in the same process I arpeggiated the things in my drum and bass type beat. So if you listen to this little thing, it has a magic drip preset on it. It sounds like this. It's really, really cute. In the context of those pads and keywords, it sounds like this. Totally fits the vibe. Finally, we got this cool down lead from the Prophets 5 inside of Analog Lab 4. Show you the MIDI. Alright, so my hi-hats. The hi-hats are very important. As you can see, these hi-hats are not entirely on the grid, and they're also heavily processed in their velocities. I got 3 hi-hat tracks. These 2 are doing open hat tracks, and this one is just doing a normal hat. Together, all 3 of them sound like this. You can kind of imagine that in like in real life. Like, and that's basically all the drums we have. If we add the kick and the snare in, it sounds like this. Just play the whole entire beat out, because this beat is much more simple than I thought it was. I guess I didn't talk about bass. My bass is from Super 7, which is a really, really awesome free retro kind of synthy plugin. It only has a couple presets in it, and it's not very versatile, but it is very authentic sounding, and I like it for that. How I made these chords Good question. If you want to download a free MIDI kit, I have one linked in my Discord server. Go into the free stuff channel and I'll point you to it there. It's free, it's 100% legal, you should check it out. I guess the interesting thing about this is that I've never made any of these kind of styles before, but I feel like my G-Funk and my R&B beats were very, very, very good. And I think that just comes down to practice. Once you learn good skills on one melody type, you can transfer them over to one other melody type. If you want to know my process of how I make my melodies better, how I spice up my melodies, check out my last video, super duper fire. I'll see you guys later. Make sure you smash the like button. See you guys later. Woo! Like, I'm not kidding you. Look at this. Properties. 44 gigabytes of files.